In Revelation chapter 13, there's a verse where it says, to him who is to die by the sword, to die by the sword, and to him who is to go into captivity, to go into captivity. The context of it is this. Revelation 12, we see the woman clothed with the sun. That represents September 23rd, 2017, today. Then, in verse 3, Revelation 12:3, it says, another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon. Now that red dragon represents Red China. Red China represents Russia, China, North Korea alliance. The red dragon in Revelation chapter 12, verse 3 and 4 is Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and Turkey allied together. And the stars are nukes. Okay? So after September 23rd, 2017, sometime after that, Russia and China are going to launch nukes. Then it goes into chapter 13, where that beast, that same beast, rises out of the sea. So Russia, China, North Korea, they have a navy, and they rise out of the sea as they destroy Babylon the Great, America. And then it says, to him who is to go into captivity, and to him who is to die by the sword, to die by the sword. What that means is, as somebody who serves God, at that time you'll have two choices. Either fight and die by the sword, or go into captivity. Those are your two options. Then, in Revelation 13, the next thing it talks about is the mark of the beast comes out. So while you're in captivity, or while you're being put to death by the sword, during this World War III scenario, soon as that World War III scenario has come to its climax and is in its declining action, and the new government is coming in and taking over. Okay, so here we are, September 23rd, 2017. I predict before ski season begins, World War III will happen. That gives you until the end of November. Okay? Now, you can call me a false prophet if it doesn't happen. I'm basing this on the dreams and visions that I've had in Revelation chapter 12, verse 1, where it says, the woman clothed with the sun, and I am assuming that that means September 23rd, 2017. I'm also assuming that the very next verse, where it says the enormous red dragon, that's going to happen next, just like it says in the Bible. Okay? And then I'm going based on a vision dream I had where I saw that it happened after snowmaking had begun, but before the ski resorts open. Okay, so that means it's cold enough. It's down to 28 degrees overnight. They could start making snow. Ideal conditions are 10 degrees, clear night. If you want to have man-made snow and make man-made snow, perfect conditions will be 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's going to be into that time when it's cold enough to make snow, but the ski season has not yet started. Okay? That's mid-November. Okay? Just so you know. In most cases, some ski resorts are at different altitudes and different locations. The one I saw was west of Denver, and I could see between two mountains. There was a clear view of Denver. So if you know that location, great. It's going to happen when there's still snowmaking has begun, but the resort has not yet opened. So that gives you from now until mid-November or early November. World War III is going to happen. To him who is to die by the sword, to die by the sword. To him who is to go into captivity. And then if you continue to read Revelation chapter 13, then the mark of the beast comes out. So here's how it works. The woman clothed with the sun happens on September 23rd, 2017. That's today. That's right now. Then that enormous red dragon launches nukes from its tail. That's Revelation. So that happens sometime in the future. Next 4 to 6 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever. How many weeks is it until the end of November? Well, we got all of October and 2 weeks of November and 1 week of September. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. I predict within 7 to 10 weeks, of September 23rd. Now, somebody might, if it doesn't happen, you're going to get all, you're a false prophet, you're wrong. Maybe. But I've been right about everything else, and this is the first time I've actually set a very clear timeline for. I do remember I thought it was going to happen in 2014. Then I thought it was going to happen at the election, 2016. And so each time I took off. I was out hiding in the dens of the rocks and in the caves of the mountains and learning how to survive on no hot water, no food, how to hunt, how to eat like canned food in the woods. I'm just saying, I pitched my tent in the rain and slept in a rainstorm. I pitched my tent in the snow and learned how to. God has had me thinking it's going to happen any minute so that He could prepare me for it. I'm ready. I'm just saying, I think I'm as ready as anyone else out there, based on my budget that I have. If I had $1 million budget, I'd probably go out and buy myself a piece of land and dig a giant bomb shelter and fill it with food or something. But based on my budget, I'm as ready as anybody. So here's the thing. What I personally thought was wrong. But what I know from God based on dreams, revelation, and how good God is to give you this little bit of time. So share this video with your friends and tell them, get ready, because this guy, listen, I've been right about everything. Everything so far I've been right about. Even when I said the gospel is out in 2015, I said that because that's the first thing that has to happen before any of the end time events can happen. And then the next thing in Revelation chapter 14 is Babylon the Great falls. And we've been waiting for that to happen, and that happens next. And God's given us late into the season. Let's say it that way. The season is ripe, and God's been giving us extra time. So get ready. So, yeah, after, to him who is to go into captivity, to him who is to die by the sword, to die by the sword. And then, somewhere around that time, if you go through Revelation chapter 12 and 13 and see it as a sequence of events, then at the end of Revelation chapter 13, the mark of the beast comes out. So there's a timeline of Revelation chapter 12 and 13 begins with the woman clothed with the sun, and then the next thing to happen is the enormous red dragon launches nukes. Then the next thing to happen is that dragon is on the shore of the sea. Then the next thing to happen is it's rising out of the sea. That's the invasion. And then the next thing it says is to him who is to die by the sword, and to him who is to go into captivity. And then at the end of Revelation chapter 13, it talks about the mark of the beast comes out. So there's your sequence of events. Starting now, the woman clothed with the sun, September 23rd, 2017. Your next event is the nuclear exchange, and then that beast is going to come rising out of the sea, and then to him who is to die by the sword, and to him who is to go into captivity. For those who serve God, those are you got two options. And then the mark of the beast is going to come out. And during that time, after those nukes, there's a time of no wind anywhere in the world. That means the ocean is going to be completely flat. And in the next 6 months, you'll be able to really tell if I'm a true prophet or not. Booyah! In the name of Jesus. Jesus is Lord.